Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. We have a guest today, and he's going to stay with us because, one, he wants to, and it's his space, and two, we're talking about lions today. We're doing a little ritual with little cats. So, in Leo season, I read a book. And I really enjoyed working with this book. I'm going to put the cover just here. And if you enjoy what we're doing today, well, maybe you can read the book and continue the work. The book is about the goddess Sekhmet, who is represented as having the head of a lion. She's from the pantheon of Egyptian gods and goddesses. She's actually one of the earliest goddesses. And the author, Nikki Scully, has organized pilgrimages to Egypt and connections, deep connections with the goddess Sekhmet. And her book is telling that and guiding us through the journeys of getting in close connection with that goddess. That book introduces us to levels of sovereignty, of reclaiming what's integral to ourselves, what's aligned. And there's a beautiful series of meditations and visualizations that work with her. During those weeks when I read the book and I got deeply connected with Sekhmet, I found this specific exercise, this ritual, creating this physical object that we're doing now and carrying it with me and going deeper into all of the sense of powerlessness and pain and wounding that I have within me to be truly transformative. It has allowed me to see things that I hadn't yet noticed in my years-long journey of healing myself and healing my past. It has allowed me to understand sovereignty, self-confidence, self-respect, self-esteem in ways that I hadn't yet seen them without categorizing them as ego or too much or just uncomfortable things to do. So I really recommend reading the book. I really recommend going through that initiation. Today we're actually getting this thread, and I would really encourage you to gather some raffia. This is called thin thread of paper. It's made out of paper. And yes, the church is ringing right now. And we're gonna do the beginning of this ritual, which is to create a bowl or to create any type of object that you want to do by knotting this thread. And so we're gonna take it, and we can take it wherever we want. We can start wherever we want. And every time you hold it within you, I would love for you to breathe in and out. And you can find this type of thread pretty much everywhere. You can find it in supermarkets, in stationery shops, in bookshops. And the aim of choosing this paper type of thread is that at the end of our ritual, at the end of all of your weeks, you're going to set it on fire. You're actually making an offering to the goddess Sekhmet. For the purpose of this video, we don't have to focus on any god or goddesses. We don't have to focus on any type of religion or cult. Just focus on making an offering to maybe yourself, your highest self, or maybe to nature, but focus on creating something that you're giving over to the divine. So the exercise was to make knots. And those knots represented specific wounds. So for example, right now I'm feeling quite a lot of despair at what's going to happen in the next few days, and I'm about to go back to Paris after a few months in Istanbul, and I'm gonna be a little bit apart from my partner because of visa situations, and that worries me, that makes me sad. I'd rather stay with him all the time, and that's where we're at. So this knot is me offering my powerlessness, my despair, and my sadness to the divine. And now I'm going to add a knot because I'm asking myself, why do I feel despair? Why is that emotion here? And the reality is that I already know we're going to be okay. We've been doing this long distance relationship for a while, so why? Because I deeply wish things were in my control and I had the choice. So I'm gonna give over my sense of powerlessness towards the future, and I'm gonna add another knot, which is my concept that I should be having control over my life. I don't always have control, and I have free will, and I get to decide a lot of things, but life also takes me on journeys that I can't always decide for myself or can't control. And that reminds me of a very beautiful session I had with a beautiful person, and we were talking about the control versus flowing philosophies of how to deal with life. And yes, spirituality teaches us, manifesting, you get to choose, you get to control. And in reality, there is a beautiful metaphor that came through where we are a boat and we have to let ourselves float and sail with the river, and the river kind of takes us on a journey. We are the boat, we are not the river. We don't really know where the river is taking us, and sometimes there's forks on the road and we get to choose. The lesson here is to adapt to what the river looks like or might look like or will be like, with its different currents, with the speed of the water, with the different weathers. We don't really know where we're going, right? So remember that you're the boat and that you get to have a lot of agency, but you don't have full control. And that river might take you somewhere much, much better than you would have manifested to, right? So I'm relinquishing yet another time my sense that I should be controlling everything in my life, because that's definitely never gonna happen, and to believe so would only be something that harms me. Believing something that's not real and that's not feasible is potentially gonna harm me. So you get the gist, right? You go through the emotional journey of knotting your troubles into that, and that's not really thinking that you're just giving them away and then it's going to be released, but it's actually doing the work of digesting what's been going on and digging deeper until you feel like, okay, this is it for today, we're good, and we're gonna rest and we'll see later on. And you might pick that up 2 days later when an email set you off and something happened. And let's create an example. Someone overstepped their boundaries and you don't really understand how that happened again, and that person didn't really understand that your boundaries were overstepped. So you create that knot where you're like, I feel powerless again because my boundaries have been breached. So I'm nodding that away. I'm creating a physical thing so that it's not still running in my head, right? Mars is in Gemini right now. There's a lot of overthinking and a lot of actions happening in different ways. So that and then being like, okay, but why? Like, have I actually been clear enough with my boundaries? No. Why? Well, because I'm afraid of their reactions. I'm afraid, and I'd rather people please, and I don't want to make waves. So you're gonna do another knot and be like, I choose to give away all the limited versions of acting towards my best inner peace, and I'm actually going to release that. And I made the job of, you know, becoming aware of that. The whole action of doing those knots is actually becoming aware of more and asking yourself why, and witnessing what's happening, but also taking responsibility. And maybe putting that away and starting to draft an email where you're like, hi, thank you for your email. At the moment, I cannot help you further, and this is not how I wish to entertain this exchange between a sponsor or someone else, or, you know, whatever. In the future, I would be more comfortable if we could keep this as, you know, a consultation, and that's something that would be addressed on Zoom within a specific time limit, between a specific time that you are, you know, in which the codes and the social codes are respected, and also addressing the fact that if the contract between you and said clients said this and that, then no more is going to be offered. So that's just an example, and then once you're fully completed with this work and that connection, you could set it on fire in a safe space, in a safe moment where there's water around and everything is outside and not toxic. And our little cat guest left us. But that's a journey that really helped, and that I've done my offering for the new moon in Leo. It's been super helpful. I created multiple different little balls out of one yarn, and I really wanted to show you because it helped, and because I plan on doing more for myself, and to have this in my bag at all times. It's really helpful when you're stressed out, when you feel powerless, and to just be like, okay, I'm gonna do this and do this work with thread and weaving and knotting and seeing an object out of mental abstract happenings that are very real, even though we don't see them tangibly because they reside in our head. The act of making it physical is extremely therapeutic, and it really helped me. I hope it helps you. And yes, this was called raffia, or just paper threads. Be safe and be conscious, and find that philosophy within yourself where it's helpful and it's not a duty, and it's not also giving over of your own agency. Thank you.